Okay, so the June numbers from Statcan are out. And it's not really a surprise that the border crossings are up 3.2%. I said in my past videos that I fully expect that June and even July are going to be above what it was last year. Because there's no denying that Canadian fans did go to the United States for the World Cup. And it is the beginning of summer, so people are still going to go. We also saw a slight increase last year as well. But I really hate it when the media on both sides of the border uses this slight increase as like a metric to say that the boycott is softening and Canadians are changing their mind. But while land crossings might be up, travel by air is still declining. And if you ask me, this is the more important one that we should be focusing on. So in today's video, I got a couple reports from CBC that I want to show. And I also want to show a post from Trevor, one of our viewers on Bluesky. Because if you're tired of hearing my point of view, let's hear it from somebody else. Because I align with Trevor in terms of his message. So I'm going to show that later on as well. So let's get started with the first report from CBC.
Border crossings are busier as Canadian travel to the U.S. picked up for the third month in a row. Car trips south of the border rising more than 5% in June compared to the same time a year ago.
I'm even starting to hear French being spoken again at stores and at attractions.
It's a relief for businesses in border cities, which have seen a dramatic drop in Canadian visitors since early 2025.
It was quiet, for sure, and I think everybody who lives here, whether you are in hospitality or not, you definitely noticed it and realized it was missed.
Now, if you don't know who this person is, this is Christy Kennedy from the North Country Chamber of Commerce. And I know for a fact that she's watching my channel because she emailed me a while ago, basically stating that the North Country is the only region across the entire border that has a special relationship with Canada. And they're also that same Chamber of Commerce that created that slideshow for Canada telling us what we did for the United States. If you've been around my channel long enough, you probably remember this slideshow. And it didn't get very good reception on my channel. I mean, it's kind of like, thanks for telling us what we did for you. We already know. It's like, why don't you tell the people in North Country instead? I mean, they need the education. But Christy wanted to have like an open dialogue to kind of express how the North Country feels about Canada. And I told her I'm fine with it. We can do a live stream on my channel or a video. But I'm also going to be giving you the opinion of many Canadians. And unfortunately, I never heard back from her. Though I'm not surprised. She says she might be hearing more French-speaking Canadians in her region. But I can guarantee you're not going to get the volume that you did before.
Some Canadians started boycotting travel to the U.S. after Donald Trump imposed steep tariffs and suggested Canada should become the 51st state. But over the past year, there's been a push to win them back.
Border destinations in the U.S. Have been offering some type of at par or value promotions to help benefit the exchange rate a little bit more.
Now, it would be naive and misleading of me to say that nobody has taken advantage of these at par discounts. People have. And yeah, we'll probably give these Canadians a side eye. But my sentiment when it comes to these promos, I feel exactly the same as what this Australian says.
So you can keep your free soda refills. I will get my own smoked brisket here, no matter how tall the redwood forests or how perfect Hawaii's surf. I will not sell my soul for a soda, or for the scenery, or for a sports spectacle. Because I want to send a message to Donald Trump, whether he hears it or not. I cannot be bought.
And I share the same sentiment as well. I cannot be bought either. So let me know in the comments below your thoughts. Can you be bought with discounts and like promo codes?
Canada! Canada!
World Cup games in 11 American cities may also have lured Canadians south. Still, travel hasn't returned to pre-Trump levels. Flights to the U.S. haven't rebounded, down nearly 4% compared to a year ago.
They've lost actually the most lucrative types of tourists, those snowbirds that are going down and spending 2-3 months there. And that's going to be a hard market to regain.
You know, it really sucks that CBC only gave Wayne Smith like less than 10 seconds to speak. Now, I understand. I mean, every one of their segments is probably only 2 minutes long and they can only have so much time to be able to give Wayne to speak. But this part right here, when he talks about the snowbirds, I think this is more important than the border crossings where, you know, people are only going for like a day or they might be going for like a couple days. So since CBC didn't give Wayne enough time to explain the snowbird part, he's going to explain it tomorrow here on the GTL channel. And we're going to have another Wayne Explains video. So if you want to hear why the snowbirds are more important than this 3% increase in the summer, you're going to want to check out the Wayne Explains video tomorrow.
In Windsor, Ontario, just across the river from Detroit, some Canadians say they're keeping their travel plans.
I have for 50 years. Why stop now?
Maybe because the country you've been visiting for 50 years is trying to take over ours? Or maybe because their president is an idiot? Or maybe because their citizens don't even treat us with respect. I did a video about a month ago on 50 reasons why to stay away from the United States. And the 50 reasons in this video came from one of our viewers named I Am Always Right, right spelled W-R-I-T. And he was able to give me an extensive list on all of the reasons why we should not be going to the United States. So if you haven't seen this video yet, I'll leave it in the pinned comment below. And maybe this guy should actually watch it.
Others say they aren't likely to visit the U.S. anytime soon.
I have zero desire to go over there by any means whatsoever.
I don't like it anymore. And I don't like the guy running the whole show.
Despite the recent uptick, overall Canadian travel to the U.S. is still way down, about 30% lower than before Donald Trump took office. Nisha Patel, CBC News, Toronto.
Now, we always have to remember that we have to compare the numbers before Taco Tuesday took office. I saw some haters and not so smart people say that, oh, the numbers are higher than what they were last year. So much for your boycott. Well, these people actually went to school. They would understand that even if these months are higher than last year, it's significantly lower than when Taco Tuesday took office. I mean, it's not rocket science, it's just like logic. But then again, you can't teach dumbass people new things. Now, I want to move on to the next report from CBC because they give some additional details on the cross-border numbers.
Okay, let's talk about travel to the U.S. because I'm recalling a very recent campaign out of California. Yes. I believe there was one in the U.S. as well, just begging for Canadians to come back.
Yeah.
Are they
the marketing campaigns,
yes.
right? Come visit us.
Exactly. We love Canadians. I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
No, they don't love Canadians. They just love our money. They love it when we put money in their cash registers. A year and a half has gone by, and I think a lot of us can tell the difference between, someone that actually loves our country and someone that just wants our money. Actually, to be honest, I haven't heard many businesses in the US say they actually, care for Canadians. It's more about, because of the Canadians, I've had to do layoffs, or because of the Canadians, there's no customers, or because of the Canadians, I've had to close down. So I really hate it when I hear from the South saying that they love the Canadians. Because these US businesses really haven't shown any sort of proof that they do. It's just our money.
Well, we did see some increases as well, which is, very, very significant, sort of seeing what the political landscape is around this. But return trips from the United States was up 3.2% from last year, the third consecutive month year-over-year increase, a rise driven by an increase in return trips from the U.S. by car. So a lot of people going over the border. That was up about 5.2%.
Now check out tomorrow's video because Wayne is going to explain why the car traffic is less valuable than the air traffic.
A decrease, however, by air. So, Chris, we're still seeing a little bit of that pull away from traveling, or I guess flying to the United States, a decrease of 3.8%. U.S. resident trips to Canada did increase by 5.1%. I know it's a lot of numbers here, but they are relatively significant.
Now, I am very glad to hear that U.S. citizens are still coming to Canada. I've always welcomed U.S. citizens to Canada, and I still do. We have to remember that we didn't start this. And if they want to help our economy, then I'm all for it. But I did see this post on my subreddit, and someone asked, this person's from the United States, how accurate is my friend's view of Canada no longer welcoming U.S. citizens? Well, in my opinion, the only way I would not welcome a U.S. citizen to Canada is if they're wearing a red hat, or if they're Kristi Noem. I've actually been debating on whether I should do a video about this, so if anybody wants me to do a video on whether or not Canadians still accept having U.S. citizens in Canada, let me know.
Again, the fifth consecutive increase of Americans coming to Canada, a year-over-year increase. And again, when we're looking at comparison by air versus vehicle, an increase by vehicle of 7.6%. Again, we saw a bit of a decrease by air of the U.S. Residents coming to Canada. So interesting. We're not where we used to be, right? If we compare from last year, et cetera, we're seeing an increase. If we compare from, regular years, we're not where we used to be, but we are seeing a bit of an uptick. So we'll take the good news.
Yeah, but Canadians still saying, hey, not so fast, right? No, we're not going down south too quickly. Thank you so much for that, Angie.
Good news that numbers is going up? Yeah, I'm kind of curious what side this person's on. Anyways, I want to move on to one of our Bluesky viewers who tagged me in this. And this person's name is Trevor, and he's going to give his point of view in terms of the June update. Canada boycott of U.S. tourism, June update. All news media is going to gaslight you and say that boycott is dying off. They're going to compare 2026 to 2025, which isn't accurate. They're going to focus on the vehicle numbers when big spender air passenger volume has dropped even more. Canadian residents, vehicle border crossings, June, 1.8 million in 2024, 1.2 million in 2025, 1.4 million in 2026. Compared to 2025, vehicle crossings went up 12.7%, 158K. But compared to 2024, it's still down 25.6%, minus 483K. That's not a recovery, it's a minor bump. News will gaslight you on this. They definitely will. Now looking at the air side, June, 487K, 2024, 383K, 2025, 350K, 2026. Air passengers down again by 3.8% compared to 2025, more accurately, minus 25% from 2024. Air passenger tourists spend a lot more in the US, and their numbers have dropped further. News will blurry this data. Now, Trevor has a few more slides, but I'm running out of time, so I'm going to just skip to the bottom. The gaslighting will commence. News media is going to focus heavily on the 12.7% vehicle increase and bury the air travel decline deep in their article. They will claim the boycott is dying off when the US is still losing a ton of tourism dollars from Canada. Don't fall for their bullshit. Bonus content. Let's compare the first 6 months of 2024 to 2026, January to June. US air travel, 1.1 million, minus 27.2%. US border crossings, 3.2%, minus 30.6%. If you've been around my channel, you know I hate numbers. Don't lie to me and say our boycott isn't having an effect on US tourism. They freaked out about a 10% drop. Really, it's worse. I want to thank you, Trevor, for compiling all of this information and putting it together for us. And you're definitely right when it comes to what the media is actually showing, which is basically the land border crossing numbers. The United States media, they don't even mention air. And if you ask me, the Canadians traveling by air, they're worth more to the United States. Because if you're going to the United States by air, you're not going to be staying just for like overnight or one day. You're going to be going there for what, maybe 3 days, couple weeks, maybe a month? Or if you're a snowbird, you're going to go there for like 3 months. You're going to be spending money on a hotel, maybe a car rental, events, food and beverage, and whatever else you're going to be spending in the US. Long story short, they spend more. If I use myself as an example, when I used to go to Blaine or Bellingham, sometimes I would spend like what, couple bucks just to pick up a package, and then I head back. Or if we decide to stay for like the weekend, you know, it's one hotel night and maybe about $400 in spending, maybe maximum $700 if we're going to the premium outlet. But that would count as one border crossing. But if I'm going to Hawaii or LA or Nevada, like Las Vegas, it's going to be a minimum couple thousand. I mean, you're spending money on the hotels, the car rentals, the tourist attractions, and everything else that you do when you're on vacation. And it's for a longer duration as well. I'm not going to fly to Hawaii or LA just for a day and then come back. So when you see shitty ass headlines like these saying, is the boycott over, or are Canadians lowering their elbows? They are 100% looking at the border crossing numbers. They're not factoring in that air travel, the Canadians who spend more, is actually still going down. I find this headline from the Winnipeg Sun a little ironic. Facts matter. Is the Winnipeg Sun another post-media bullshit media company? I don't know. I haven't looked it up. But maybe those in Winnipeg can let me know. But if you want more information on this boycott and why the air travelers are more valuable than the land crossing, I would highly advise to check out Wayne's Explains video tomorrow, because he definitely gives more information than the 10 seconds that CBC gave him. Closing off this video, I would like to thank Mr. Mystics from our Discord server for posting up this photo of Bow Falls at Banff National Park in Alberta. I really appreciate you posting this in the server and sharing it with the community. And for those waiting for the co-host, she's a little busy making biscuits. She's been doing this the whole video, and I thought she would stop after like 5 minutes, but she's still going. So unfortunately, if you're waiting to hear from her, you'll have to wait for the next video. Alright everyone, that's it for this video. If you found any value in anything I said today, or you want to hear more from a Canadian and international point of view, without the US media bias, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button below. That way you'll be notified of my future videos. And don't forget to hit the bell icon and select all as well. Now, if you want to see more of my videos, check out the ones that are going to show up on your screen shortly. Thanks everyone, I'll catch you in the next one.
The polka dot door, the polka dot door. Let's peep through the polka dot door. Songs and stories and so much more. Through the polka dot door.